The New York Times. The New York Times published an article talking about termination for medical reasons. The first family that they talked to and highlighted in the story was a family that terminated for Down syndrome and a severe cardiac defect. Seeing that kind of representation in the New York Times honestly almost brought tears to my eyes. This was published the 27th of May. The Unlikely Women Fighting for Abortion Rights, The End of Roe, has turned women who terminated pregnancies for medical reasons into a political force. This author did a great job of explaining what termination for medical reasons is. They did a great job of encapsulating almost all of the arguments that I've ever seen on this channel. She did a great job of picking all different kinds of people. So like staunch Catholics, strict Christians, people that were already Republican, people that would never have an abortion, people that seemed quite liberal in their thinking. Again, the author did a great job of showcasing the nuance. So I just want to highlight a couple of things. Anti-abortion groups, forced birthers, argue that bans prohibit only what they call elective abortions. That's not true. We know that's not true. We know that women and families are not able to get terminations for medical reasons. And the author talked about a family that wasn't able to get an abortion in Texas, and even their pastor was surprised that they weren't considered an exception for the ban. But this is so annoying. This tired old women have been falsely told this is a compassionate option. However, it feeds into the growing trend of disability discrimination and the pressure women face from the medical community to abort children who might have a disability. It's not a might. Another nuance, that abortion rights groups don't want to kind of promote or put TFMR stories on a pedestal, because then there's like this justification part. And I've noticed that, and I try to be very mindful of my participation in the social media community talking about abortion rights, because I do think it's important to talk about TFMR and how it's different. And I don't want to elevate it in a way that makes it seem like this is more important. She also talks about fatal diagnoses versus gray diagnoses and how that's different. This really was upsetting. Theoretically, if I had a Down syndrome diagnosis, I would keep them. Why would you say that to the press? Why? You're in the same article as someone who terminated with the Down syndrome and cardiac diagnosis. Why? This person terminated for spina bifida. And then the author includes another woman's quote, "Picking and choosing it has to stop. We need to trust people to make their own decisions." Again, the author did a really great job of offering a lot of different perspectives. And then the same woman said she's been seeing a grave counselor, refers to it as her medical miscarriage, even after Miss Manzano told him she prefers to say abortion. Please find a new therapist. It's so important that us TFMR folks stick together. We don't pick and choose. We don't elevate one story and, try to justify one diagnosis. Like, we're all in this together. Also, it's so important that us TFMR families, if you're going to do psychotherapy, find a psychotherapist that works. Someone not being comfortable enough to mirror your language is not the right therapist for you. We are incredibly vulnerable, and it is so, so, so important we pick a therapist that is able to meet us where we are. And it doesn't sound like this person's therapist can.